last night, a hell of a UFC 268 card. I almost said 268 card, but holy! I mean, we on our heels we have, and in our hands we have a fight of the year candidate. But we'll get into that. But I mean, just
hmm
initially, Voodoo, what do you think
hmm
about the card?
From bottom to top, it was spectacular. Um, I think we are in the mix of the evolution of the sport. The level has risen so much in such a little time that it's hard to fathom what's going on. I mean, the cards just keep getting better and better. It's like a tsunami that just keeps building and building and building. And we are all on a ride on this massive MMA tsunami. It's incredible, unbelievable. Look at the numbers that these people are doing. Now you don't have to be a Conor McGregor to push such hard numbers. You know what I mean? The whole thing is just out of control. You see stars everywhere. You see promotions everywhere. It's just out of control, man. It's just out of control. And I love what I witnessed yesterday. It was absolutely bananas. I mean, everyone was shining. Everyone was shining. They gave four performance of the night, if not five, plus main event yesterday. See, that is a good act by by the by the company, noticing that, okay, even though we always cut it off at four, there were other people who were deserving. So boom, 50,000 more for these people as well. It was a beautiful thing, man. I enjoyed it quite well.
No, and it's one where if you had an ESPN Plus membership, you actually made in terms of fight by fight, kind of return on investment,
hmm
right? Well, a large part of the card was essentially on ESPN Plus. It wasn't even
hmm
on, I think it was what the last five fights.
Yeah.
Obviously, two title fights, a lot of eliminator and title eliminator fights and what have you. But like for a 14 fight card, nine fights were on ESPN Plus.
Yes. 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 I mean, even though ESPN Plus is gonna be going up some $20, um,
What?
oh yeah, it's gonna be going up. It's gonna be going up. Uh,
What?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's gonna be going up. I think it's still a very good investment. Uh, um, I don't pay for anything else. I don't have cable. I don't do cable. Um, but I'll pay for that most
Yeah.
definitely because I'm getting so much bang for my buck. Look at this card for an example. I mean, the first nine fights were. Are you serious? How many knockouts?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Performance at the highest level. The fighters representing the company as number one with the expression of their performance. It was pretty. It was crazy. It was crazy. I'll pay for that. I'll always pay for that. You know what I mean? I will pay for that. So yes, it is a stiff and a steep increase in price, but I'm still winning. That's how I see it.
Jesus Christ. I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about it. I feel like what was it? Not what was it? It wasn't Triller. It was something with a weird name that used to do the zone. The zone, right?
Oh, right, right, right.
$20 a month, but you only got like some Bellators, assuming if it was blacked out, then some Canelos, but then much like the ESPN Plus, where you have to pay for the subscription and the pay per view. I believe some Canelo fights were like that, and then like it just, yeah, it kind of reminds me of that, and I don't know, like, and especially when you get like for the hardcore sports, like say you're watching NFL, say you're watching NBA, NHL, pro wrestling, because ESPN has gotten into pro wrestling, definitely in MMA with UFC and PFL, right? And shout out to the PFL, which production wise, they're to me they're on par with the UFC. Even in some aspects better. The walkouts and everything like that. I love the PFL right now. But with that all being said, you're going into the big dogs in terms of streaming services. When you got New
hmm
Japan World for
hmm
a little under because of the Japanese currency versus the U.S. currency. A little bit under $9.99. Then you got if you watch the WWE, you can get away with a $4.99 with ads Peacock subscription, and then you got $9.99 for Paramount Plus that has Combate America or now Combate Global, right? And then what else am I missing? And you can't even get Bellator on Paramount Plus, so you have to have a $14.99 add-on through Amazon or the Showtime app, itself, right? And then you got the gargantuans that are Hulu and Netflix, right? You might as well have cable.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm speaking to you, but I'm really speaking to me as well because I'm like, fuck, wish the DirecTV that those motherfucking things that they send in the mail joined for $9.99 or whatever the fuck, and like I'm
for 12 months.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll figure it out, man. AMC could go to the moon, and I not give a damn. I have streaming services plus fucking cable. But right now, on this budget, you're like, you guys, I put the damn, buy me a coffee and fighter support, whatever. So if you want to support this podcast, Porter Woods or what have you, absolutely. Because, to cover all of these things, it's getting pretty pricey.
Indeed it is, man. Indeed it is. But speaking of pricey.
No, that's exactly the segue that I was going to make. So fucking go ahead, good sir.
Speaking of pricey, we opened up the card with O'Day Osborne versus CJ Vergara. What a match. What a match. A striker versus mixed martial artist almost. But O'Day, he came out the gates and he let the hands go. First round and the second round. He put it down but towards the end, CJ Vergara figured the distance finally, and he was able to get him to the ground, and he was able to get the mount. He was able to take top control, and he was able to rain down Doomsday, but he ran out of time. If there was one more round, who knows what could have happened. But in this case, because he won the first two rounds, they gave the fight to O'Day Osborne. I mean, he was deserving because, he put it down in the first two rounds.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what a unanimous decision is, right? 2-1, right? If you're looking at the scale, like 2 weighs a hell of a lot more than 1, right? Unless you have, one person or one thing that might be just portly, in Bakersfield when FedEx drivers used to fucking, start, they call it the backbaker route because there's a part of town where there would be like parts from like the dryers or the Frito-Lay company that would be 8 by 8 by 8 inches and weigh 120 pounds, right? And you this Pandora's box, and then you literally break your back, right? To me, that's, unless you have one of those, again, this unanimous decision deal, that makes sense. This two, unless the one weighs more than the two, it's a unanimous decision. So I don't disagree with it. Shout out to O'Day Osborne, who, he's 10-4, man. Like that's looking pretty damn sexy to the UFC matchmakers, and didn't take a horrible amount of damage.
Not really. His opponent CJ had more physical
attributes.
Physical changes.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
He had a really huge swollen eye, so he ate a lot of jabs. So, the good stuff.
The good stuff. Now, here we go. We have the Battle of Los Angeles, whether the people want to admit it or not, because, we have Bruno Sosa, originally from Brazil, but he trains out of CMMA with Chad George, as well as UWF USA with Josh Barnett. So that's a whole team together. And then Milsik Batazarian, who theoretically is from Armenia, but he trains with our good brother David Huey out of Muay Thai America in North Hollywood, California. So CMMA in Gardena. We've got Muay Thai America, which that one is different because I saw David Huey from Muay Thai America was actually commentating fights here in LA. So I don't know what happened, but as best I know, Melsick was training out of in the same gym as uh, the Nigerian Terminator, Loveth Young.
Oh, okay.
They were teammates for sure.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, good.
Yeah, she for speaking of Nigerian Terminator, she's gonna be fighting like next week or something like that.
Yeah, here in
If I
LA
remember
at
correctly.
Burbank Marriott and Convention Center for the LFA title. So
Mhm.
if you're in LA, hell, if you're not even from LA, this is one that you want to drive for and weather LA traffic for. But I'm debating on it on myself. But yeah, Melsick, Bruno Sosa. Sosa took the fight on short notice. I believe less than 10 days. I want to say, and you know, Bruno Sosa's coach, Chad George. He was, you know, the fact that Melsick is somebody that they're building around, right? The UFC brass, and rightfully so. He's shown in his inclusion to the UFC roster, he is that guy, right? So they took it short notice, a really fucking good guy from a good camp and everything like that, and you know they went to a decision. Yes, it was a unanimous decision, but it goes 15 minutes. So I mean, shout out to Bruno Sosa, but fucking Melsick Batazarian. Jesus Louises, this guy. I mean,
Yeah.
both of these guys are future champion, at least championship contenders.
Yeah. This Melsick fella, I saw something different. Usually, from my experience, he brings a lot of direct energy. And he overwhelms the opposition usually. But this particular match, he didn't do that. He showed broken rhythm. He attacked when there was an opening. He showed um what's a good word for this? Well, if we're gonna piggyback on what we were talking about last week, he showed a grown maturity, right? He's not just full guns blazing anymore. Now it's timing, right? It's timing. Timing has improved a great deal, not just a bunch of force, which disrupted Bruno Souza tremendously. Bruno is a counter striker. Now, if the guy is not attacking like he normally does, what do? My whole camp was based around countering this fella as he comes in, but he's coming in when he feels like it, not continuous. So this makes the fight different, or made the fight different for Bruno, and we had what we had. Bruno's footwork was excellent, by the way, because he never took any serious damage.
What?
You know what I mean? For coming in on such short notice and walking out and having dinner and like he never got into a fight, that shows you what kind of experience he's bringing to the table. He said he saw an opportunity, he took it. Now he's inside the gates. Now what he does from now on is up to him.
Yeah, and just a side note here, Bruno Sosa is a former LFA champion, beating CSW's Javier Garcia, right? And Javier next week at the next LFA that we just mentioned with Love is fighting for a title. I believe it's the LFA strawweight title. Javier Garcia will basically take Bruno's place and try his chance at LFA Gold once more. So that's going to be a fun one. Alex Ramirez says, "Hey guys, I'm too busy to tune in live, but I wanted to say hello to my two amigos. You're amazing, Alex. Never forget." Yeah. So another unanimous decision. Dustin Jacoby, who advances to 16-5, faces Brazil's John Allen, who fell to 13-7.
Dustin Jacoby also took this fight on short notice, and there was a discrepancy about whether he would be in shape to finish the fight strong. But Dustin Jacoby, knowing that the history that he has against the competition that he's been against, as I was watching this match, actually prior to that, we had an agreement that Jacoby was going to win this match, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. It was as predicted. He went in there. He managed the distance very well with his hands. His boxing was phenomenal. John
Mm-hmm.
Allen just could not set up. He just could not get with him because
But,
Dustin Jacoby had the angles, the footwork, the pressure without exhausting himself, even though he wasn't in fight shape, so to speak. Right? Everyone gets at least 6 weeks. He only had a few
mm-hmm.
days, and he still performed the way he performed with a unanimous decision. So his skill level is much, much higher than John Allen, which is why he can walk off the street, win this match real quick, and go home with a pocket full of cash, like Nate Diaz will say.
Yeah. Well, it's yeah. So I mean, shout out to, and this is something that our good friend Sean and Steve talked about you in terms of ideology is just keep ready so you don't have to get ready.
Mm.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's something that you fervently pitch and push. To all your pupils that train under you, and it's something that you even adhere to with your own children.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of those examples of exactly that.
Yeah, man, straight up, man. And speaking of those example, we move on into the only heavyweight title, or actually heavyweight match of the night, in which we had Chris Barnett versus Gianni Villante. Gianni Villante was scheduled to retire on this very day, but unfortunately for him, he ran into the whip kick of Barnett. This man,
Mm-hmm.
remember we spoke last Thursday, and we talked about his Taekwondo background. And I was
Yep.
like, I'm never going against a Taekwondo artist. This is what I mean, man. Those
Yep.
kicks come from all angles. I bet you
Mhm.
Gianni has never had anyone that big throw a kick like that at him, which
Yep.
is why he didn't know how to react to it. He reacted as if he was going to get punched, but it was a kick that wraps around the guard and hits you from the backside. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? He got caught, close to the back of the ear, and there's no recovery from that, especially with the heel of the leg, which is one of the hardest surfaces besides the knee. You know what I mean? So what a win for Chris Barnett. He does this for not only himself, he gets the glory, but he gets to feed his family with that bonus money too.
Mm-hmm. And if that didn't get the damn bonus, and I mean, did you see his damn splits afterward? This guy is agile. This is the real Kung Fu Panda. Never forget. This dude. Holy shit, man. So shout out to Chris. Man, this fucking good. Fucking good, man.
What an athlete. What an
Yeah.
athlete to be so big. What an athlete. Performing like he performs. Wow. I'm just shocked. But shout out to him though.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in our next knockout, that unfortunately didn't get a $50,000 bonus, but it's not for lack of trying. We had Ian Gary versus Jordan Williams. Ian Gary, we predicted it. He was going into this 7-0. We're like, hey, you actually, all praise and glory to you, Voodoomaximus, because you're just like, what is better than that? You just continue on your onslaught. And that's exactly, I believe Ian Gary, as he will travel from Ireland to Vegas, he took, well, actually, it was Madison Square Garden. What the fuck am I talking about? It's Madison Square
Yeah.
Garden, most famous arena in the road. So,
Right.
but I mean, quickly dispatches Jordan Williams. Actually, not quickly, because this is a buzzer beater at 4:59, but it was that KO counter right.
Yep. Yep. All round long, Jordan Williams was controlling the fight. He had a very excellent attack. His movement was fantastic. It was um it was um it was on par for flow state. You can say he was in flow. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. He was in flow, right? Um, but he forgot one of the most important rules of the game. Don't be overconfident. because you're being successful. And we are going to revisit this in a few fights to come, what I'm talking about. In his mind, he was thinking, oh man, this is the Ian Gary that everybody's all hyped up about. You know what I mean? I can feel his pressure, everything that he was doing, the way he was fighting. I could feel what he was feeling. And he's going in there and he's throwing, he's landing. Everything's working. He's leaking the opposition in, bleeding from his nose. He's touching him whenever he wanted. And he's thinking, wow, this what's the hype about? You know what I'm saying? He's getting him. Whatever he wants to throw, he's hitting him with. So what's the hype about? So he quickly found out at the end of that round, right at the end of that round, what the hype was about. Because Ian Gary was pretty much dragging him into deep waters while he was seeking and trying to find his range. And once it took him 4 minutes and 59 seconds to find that range necessary. About 57, 58 seconds. It took him that long to find the perfect range, and then, like the sniper that he is, he let go of the trigger, and it hit that bullet, man, and it came right on the chin. As soon as it landed, the man dropped like he was shot, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, that's a harmful mistake. But again, you don't want to get too high on the hog in terms of where you think your prospects are, or just get a big head about you, because somebody could come in and knock that head right off your damn neck, assuming you have a head on the neck. For people that don't have necks, shout out to you. Right on. So in the next fight, we have a throwback. Literally a throwback to UFC lore of old, right? Where Nasruddin Imadaev dispatches Edmen Shahbazyan, the Golden Boy, second round, via elbows from the fucking crucifix. Holy shit! What I mean, obviously, God, I can't even remember. I think was it Paul Varlins that got KO'd that way? He gets trapped in the crucifix.
Yeah,
and then, yeah,
way back.
Yeah, R.I.P. The polar bear. But that was more. Was it Maurice Smith that did it?
And it wasn't Maurice Smith. It was
It was somebody with
Canadian. He's Canadian.
God, Goodrich.
Goodrich, that guy. Yeah.
Wait, it guy. Was
Big Daddy Goodrich. Yeah.
Wait, Big Daddy.
In a gi. He was wearing a black gi.
Okay, yeah.
He smacked him into oblivion. What a terrifying thing to witness.
Yeah, you're trapped and you got nowhere to go and your elbows are happening, like Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's it. Jesus Christ pose, literally. But yeah, I mean, gets it done to Edmen Shahbazyan. Edmen, it's no secret that he was raised here in LA. I believe that's one of the reasons why we kind of picked him. Did you pick him? I know I did.
I picked him because his home team. You know what I'm saying? He fought at the
CXF.
CXF. That's why I picked him. And he's got the tools. He's got the tools necessary to win. That's another reason I picked him. I wouldn't have picked him if if I thought he wasn't worthy of picking.
Right.
But what I saw in this fight was a lack of maturity. Yeah. There was no additional maturity. He's still where he was. Is he in shape? Fantastic shape. Can he still fight? Yes. But some things need to be added. And those things haven't been added, right? That grappling needs to be added. That grappling, he shouldn't have been caught. But for someone of his caliber, shouldn't be caught in a crucifix like that and not be able to get out.
Right.
Crucifix is one of the most dangerous positions to be in. So, how often do you see the crucifix?
Not many.
Think about that.
In high-level MMA? No,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might see it in amateurs. You'll see it on the regional scene, but
It's like black people and police. It don't mix. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You feel me, right?
no, 100%.
When black people see the police, they're extra cautious. While
Mm-hmm.
if white people see the police, they're like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" You know what I mean? It's not the same. So the crucifix to MMA fighters is as such,
Yeah.
if you can understand me.
Mm-hmm.
So we stay away from this crucifix, right? MMA fighters tend to stay away from the crucifix. So that's also a testament to Nasruddin's skill level, because he was able to secure the position and he was able to hold it there and finish the fight before the round ended. So it's a shout out to Nasruddin as well. But Shabazian is grappling. Um, you know what? I'm not even gonna say grappling, wrestling.
Yeah.
It's the transitions is what got him. The
Mm-hmm.
transitions. The other guy was just a tad bit faster, just a little bit ahead, and that was why he was caught in the crucifix. He wasn't able to
Mm-hmm.
get out of it. The wrestling has to be like like straight up wrestling. He has to go to a wrestling school. You know what I mean? He has to just wrestle only with the tights and all that, with the things, the earmuffs. He
Yeah.
needs to do that kind of wrestling, right? If his game is gonna change, because he has to stay where he is best, which is striking.
Right.
He goes to the ground. He's not that great on the ground. We can see that. You
And
know what I mean? He has to, yeah.
it's crazy because I mean there it's not for a lack of resources, right? Oh, and Michelle Hausen says, "Hiya, dudes. Hiya, Michelle.
What's
Michelle
up?
might know somebody named Big Fem Vader, Aisha Raymond, who I do a
Oh,
podcast with, and Aisha basically won another title. She holds 3 pro wrestling titles in the world of pro wrestling in all over Europe that represent 3 places
respect,
in Europe. So shout out to you,
respect,
champ.
respect,
I love it.
respect, champ, respect,
Absolutely.
respect.
But see, here's the thing, right? Edmund Shabazian, in that kind of circle, there have been obviously Gokor Shavichian, right? I believe Arthur, Gokor's
Mm-hmm,
son,
mm-hmm,
helps out, Big Edmund at Glendale Fight
mm-hmm,
Club, right? So
mm-hmm,
I'm not trying to speculate or whatever, but like there's great wrestlers. There's Manny Gambarian, I mean, throughout the history and the pantheons of UFC and Armenian fighters, right? Like,
mm-hmm,
Kara Parisian, Manny Gambarian, right? Karen
mm-hmm,
Dyer-Bidian. I mean,
mm-hmm,
Karen Dyer-Bidian is all wrestling. Gokor Shavichian
mm-hmm,
is catch wrestling and judo,
mm-hmm,
learned by the great judo Gene LaBelle, right? Teammate of Ronda Rousey's mom,
mm-hmm,
Anna Maria DeMars, right? So
mm-hmm,
it's not like he can't get it. It's just,
mm-hmm,
and for it to be at this stage of the game to be a deficit, it's I don't know that but and also some people take to striking versus grappling or grappling versus
mm-hmm,
striking. So that could be just a personal preference. I don't know. I'm
mm-hmm,
not in the camp or whatever. And
mm-hmm,
all respect to all the names that I just mentioned, it's just
mm-hmm,
yeah, man. And Nasruddin, he saw it. What was that? Oh, choo choo, hype train. And he
mm-hmm,
was like, "Oh,
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be that dastardly villain. I'm gonna put
Yeah.
somebody in the fucking road and tie him to the train tracks and
Mm-hmm,
or whatever the fuck. Like, I'm going to derail this." And not saying that Edmund isn't a great fighter. He has shown himself up to this point, but just like you said, lack of maturity in terms of his overall game
yeah.
that Nasruddin was able to capitalize on, and that's what got him the
Now,
win.
now check this out. The good thing for Edmund is he's just 23 years old.
It's facts.
He's just he's just a kid. He's just a kid. There's no better time for him to be losing than now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now is a perfect time for him to lose. If he's gonna lose, lose right now. Lose right now. You don't want to lose at 30 when you're hitting your peak, when you should be in firing in all cylinders. He is
Mm-hmm.
still the future. He is still the future. You know what I mean? He's so young and he's already done so much in the sport. The kid fights in a UFC.
Right.
That is huge. That is huge. Yes, he's lost. But understand, he's just a child.
Yeah.
He's a child. I could be his father.
Yeah. Yeah. You could be.
I could be his father.
Uh-huh.
He's that young.
Facts.
You know what I mean? But he is fighting at the highest level. So he still got time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now the people around him, they should well, something's going on because the grappling defense is, you know, I think against a guy from France, you know what I mean? I think he should have been the better grappler. I mean,
Facts.
California is the Mecca.
Right.
You know what I mean? You've got all sorts of skills out here. You know what I mean? France doesn't have as much as we do. I mean, it's just a fact. So, what's going on? You know what I mean? Is he going to school? Is he also a full-time student? This could be a case.
Could be.
I don't know. I don't know. Is he a full-time fighter? I don't know. I don't know. It seems to me that Nasruddin is a full-time fighter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, who knows?
Yeah,
Like
and
I said, the kid is young. He's very young. He's still got a lot of time to make life-changing decisions.
absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of, in terms of high-level grappling, I'll kind of pull this up on screen, but none other than Josh Barnett. He's actually hosting, catch wrestling grappling tournament. So there it is. That is going to be in Yorba Linda, California, in Orange County. That's November 20th. And again, $40 guarantees you 2 matches. Weigh-ins at 9 a.m. And obviously the rules can be found at the Eventbrite link. But if you're if you're wanting to test your mettle in terms of grappling and what have you, it's not just IBJJF. There's this, obviously, with the asterisks of, hey, this is catch wrestling. So you can't play bottom guard. You can't, be on your back. You can't lay and pray or play for points because guess what? You'll get pinned. So that's it. But if Edmund Shabazian wants to get that grappling in, $40, $40 in Yorba Linda. That's what's happening on November 20th.
The thing is, he'll probably go to Yorba Linda and do very well. You know what I mean? Yeah, because these are just regular people, right? They're not mixed martial artists. They're just one art, right? But he needs a fresh face.
Mm-hmm.
A non-Armenian speaking fresh face. That's what I feel. This is what I feel. Maybe an English speaker. Only. American born, you know what I mean? Homegrown. He needs that. He needs a different perspective. Just for that one thing. See, he already knows the Armenian style of wrestling. He already knows that, right? I want him exposed to a different side. I think maybe that could be what it takes. I just want him to explore all his options and not be bound by whatever he's bound by. You know what I mean?
Which, I mean, little birdie tells me, and you don't have to look too far to look, but Josh Barnett and Chad George, CMMA, South Bay MMA, right? Like, you can try there. There's a lot. That's a good room. There's, depending on where he wants to go. There's Fight Academy in Pasadena. There's a bunch of Gracie Bajas. I don't know, but that's a theory.
He ain't got to leave his current spot. He's just got to make additional alliances.
Right.
I believe he should make additional alliances. You don't got to leave home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just open it like America does around the world and China does around the world. They open up bases. They open up bases, and those bases are America.
Facts.
When you're on those bases, even though you're in Japan, that base on the Japanese Ocean or or island is America. Just do that. You are still Armenian, but yet try out the fruits in different continent. I would try out the fruits in different continents. You know what I mean? This is business. We are seeking growth, right? Why restrict myself to one style? You know what I mean? Bruce Lee taught us this. Don't forget your own style, right?
Right.
We're trying to add to it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying this isn't good enough or that is better than that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying maybe it's not working out yet. And I need something to tweak it a little bit more to hit free flow. Right? I'm
Yeah.
hitting flow state. But sometimes I just need to hit free flow. I got to get to free flow. You know what I mean? Maybe trying that alternative might get me there. I got to try. At least try.
Now, speaking of try, right? Try, as you might, and hopefully it turns up pay dirt, right? And that is the theory and the ideology behind the career of one Chris Action Man Curtis, because he's been knocking at the damn door to. I mean, this is a guy on Dynamite's Contender Series who broke his hand in the opening exchange and still manages to Shawn Michaels' Sweet Chin music a motherfucker for a KO and doesn't get a contract. So, oh man. But I mean, if you're gonna make your damn debut, you do it in the UFC, you do it in Madison Square Garden, and you do it with a counter left fucking KO over another champion outside of the UFC, one Phil Hawes. Now, actually, I want to bring up something that Chris posted himself. That they were saying, this is too tough a guy, and there was a lot of things that Chris Curtis was hearing, and I don't. Jesus Christ, I forgot the exact quote, but he was basically saying, to all the naysayers that you said this guy was that, and I was just even Phil Hawes himself was like, oh, this is just a guy that's just going to get a UFC fight kit and be good, And he basically just, here's it. I'm expecting that he's going to be tough. He's got a lot of fights. He's a veteran. If not in the UFC, he's still a veteran. And this is what Hawes said to MMA Junkie during Media Day. But I know he's one of the guys here for the fight kit. I'm here to be world champion. I'm going to send him on his way. He's going to have his fight kit and be happy. But I'm coming to get the knockout. Woo! You remember what we were talking about? Just kind of, being a little bit less big in the head, right? Make your words soft and sweet just in case you have to eat them later. Well, the knockout happened. It was just out the hands of Chris Curtis to Phil Hawes.
Yes. This is the second fight that we were talking about in comparison to the Jordan Williams and Ian Gary fight. This is the second one that we were talking about. But by the way, Phil Hawes looked every bit of the smack that he talked. He looked phenomenal. The use of those front kicks, snapping with the ball of the foot, landing precisely on the belly, the way he was doing, he was in line for a beautiful win. He was throwing excellent straight shots. Everything was beautiful. Beautiful. Everything he was doing was perfect. You couldn't strike any better. I will even say he was in flow state. Right? But he forgot to respect the power of the opposition. The skill of the opposition. Yes, you are better. But don't make a mistake still. You know what I mean? If you're going to press like you're pressing, just don't make a mistake. Because if you make a mistake, now you're in his striking range. And if you mess up, bam, The same way you can enter that battle zone and touch him up and he can't touch you. If you move into that battle zone, there's a circle. There's 3 circles. There's punching range, there's kicking range, and there's elbow range. Elbows and knees, that's a different range. Straight punches, different range. It keeps getting further, right? We all understand this range. If you mess up and you get into these ranges and you can't get back out, you tend to go to sleep, like Phil Haas did. You tend to go to sleep, like Jordan Williams. It's playing with fire. You know what I mean? If you do not manage that fire very well, it will burn everything around you.
Yep.
Right? But if you harness fire really well, you could clear an entire forest of field and you can plant your next agriculture crop. Right? It depends on how you decide to use it. And this is what happened. Hawes, he stumbled and the fire dropped.
Yep.
And he forgot he was soaked in gasoline and burnt himself up.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, it got nutty. Yeah, he got caught with that left hook.
Yeah. And it was, I mean, almost like, let's say a Hollywood stunt person, right? But without all the flame retardant gear. Just on fire.
Yeah.
It was a self-immolation, unfortunately. Yeah, so, I mean, shout out to Chris Curtis. I want him to go on a run because not he deserves it, but like that guy. Yeah, he fucking deserves it. He did everything.
We also picked Chris Curtis to win that match.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
that's what we talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. But anybody that knows of Chris Curtis, again, he breaks his hand in the opening. Chris Curtis has done amazing things in his over 30 fight career. But you break your hand, and arguably his biggest fight and biggest opportunity to date on Dana White's Contender Series, breaks his motherfucking hand and fucking super kicks it. Fucking does a sweet chin music and KOs the motherfucker. Like, shit me. Come on. So shout out to Chris Curtis. But, Chris Curtis I regard as an LA guy because, I mean, even though he's at Extreme Couture in Vegas now, but he's a longtime member of Team Quest in Temecula with Sam Alvey and Dan Henderson, obviously, and a whole slew of amazing talent there. So shout out to Chris Curtis. But, I mean, California was on a roll, right, in these 2 consecutive fights, especially in regards to East Coasters, right? Because OG Bobby Green, holy fucking shit, man, earning himself an extra $50,000, right, for his performance. This is a guy who came back. He was all but retired from MMA, comes back because he wants a house for his kids. And arguably, he's on the best run of his career, I'm going to say, right?
Yeah.
Beats Raging Al Iaquinta first round. That's all it takes. And it was a jab cross. I mean, as I don't want to say rudimentary, but like in terms of the formation of your MMA game, especially in striking, that is as easy as peasy as it gets. But once you master it, I think it was I want to say it was Jean-Jacques Machado, right, on Rogan, and talking about, Joel, I've learned more. I forgot more moves than I know it, and and that was also the case with Luthez, right? Like they're just so great that they're constantly innovating and what have you, and that's exactly what OG Bobby Green did. And Iaquinta, if you were a New York fan, especially you came from upstate New York, to go to the Madison Square Garden and watch your guys win. Well, in the instance of John Villante and Iaquinta, unfortunately, it was a rough fucking night for you.
Yes, indeed it was. If you remember on Thursday, we talked about how Al Iaquinta is not the same person we know. He is a professional outside of this. He is fighting at the highest level, and also he is a professional selling houses. You know what I mean? that split right there is a problem at this level in the game, at this weight class. OG Bobby Green does absolutely nothing but crush faces all day long.
Yeah, all day.
He thinks that's all he does. That's all he does. He doesn't wear a suit and goes to sell anything. He goes to the gym, laces up those boots when he's in a boxing ring. He laces up those shin guards when he's in a kickboxing ring. He wrestles. He does all that. You know what I mean? And all day long. That's all he does. That's all he thinks about. Think about the knowledge that he's acquired. Now, Al Iaquinta is also acquiring, but he's acquiring other things. Things are taking up that space that fighting could take up, right? So now he's having to split his attention, right? Remember we talked about how I always tell these young fighters, never have kids if you want to establish yourself in fighting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Al Iaquinta is still working on establishing himself, which is why he is selling real estate. He is not financially free yet, right? And he wants to expedite the process. And I'm not mad at him. It is what it is, right? He wants to become financially. This is what all real men should do.
Yeah.
But as a fighter, there will be a price. There will be a price. Diminished knowledge, diminished fighting knowledge at the highest level. Hindered. No, not diminished, because he is not losing skill.
Right.
He still got his skill, right? Hindered skill, like the space that could, the space that could have. Go ahead, say what you were gonna say.
It's why am I fucking up the word? But compartmentalized. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever lies in.
Yeah, that one.
That word.
You put it in a box and you fucking do something with it.
Yeah. So having to borrow from martial arts. He's having to borrow from the bank of martial arts. Every time he borrows from the bank of martial arts and he puts a deposit somewhere else in real estate, he's being successful. He's selling
Shout out to yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shaman Steve, baby, all day
coming
long.
Coming
through.
Which, by the way, he'll be on According to Woods on Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So shout out to you, Shaman Steve. We'll see you soon. But yes, I saw it in my head, but for whatever reason, Caramelized was going in, and maybe I'm hungry. Maybe I'm hungry, and this just shows up as we're doing this.
There you go.
Yeah, so my wife, she's a saint, and love my favorite show. Says Shaman Steve. We love you back, bro. I'm just saying, back. We love you. Like Mari Yamasaki without the be a warrior. Yeah, I think I got this in I guess in reverence. Oh yes, I have it here. There you go. The man.
There you go. That's him.
There you go.
That's
there you
him
go.
right there.
Never forget. But yeah, that's it. You know, he's trying to figure it out, and this is also why. And I believe you've said it time and time again, why Habib's case for being like the greatest of all time doesn't have water, because when he faced, was it him? Al, right? It was Al Iaquinta?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
He fought Khabib for the vacant title. Right,
exactly. And Al Iaquinta, when has Al Iaquinta been in the top 10, top 15, the higher echelon of MMA in this division?
It's been a while. He's been around for some time.
He's but never in the top 10. Never in the to be respectful, right? And I'm not messing. He was
in the top 10 a long time ago. Let's just say that.
Okay, that's very good.
But he is a noticeable name.
Yeah,
because of his skill set
and his time on The Ultimate Fighter for sure.
Exactly.
Right. You know. But this one, you know, it's just like if it's what is it? All Day is Dominic Clark's moniker, and All In is AEW's pay-per-view. Well, that's one thing that Bobby Green is versus Iaquinta. He is all in, and he's all in all day, right?
Mhm.
So this is where the other kind of money making opportunities, the thirst for having multiple sources of income, which in a normal speak would in everyday life would work, right? But when you're getting punched, kicked, and slammed on the head, maybe not, and that's
Mm-mm.
a different one
Mm-mm.
too, because like he is somebody, you're learning how to process loans and get to showings and all that at the time where people are literally trying to extract forcefully things from your
Yeah,
memory, you
straight
know
up, straight up. Yeah, so Al, he still got it. It's just that his attention has been split. And if you have go in there with a split attention against the OG Bobby Green, he will light you up. He will light
hmm
you up. And Al got lit up. The way he threw that 1-2 combination was just marvelous. He stunned him with the first one and finished him off with the second one. And we knew immediately that that fight was over. Um,
yeah,
you will find that those who are excellent in jabs almost always finish people with the two hand. Adrian Yanez is one prime example.
yeah,
Adrian Yanez, he is very crisp with that 1-2, which is why Aljamain Sterling brought him in into training camp to see if he will be able to implement his game plan against a perfect striker. You know what I mean? He found quickly, even though it never came out, I am ultimately guessing that Adrian Yanez toe tagged him in training camp, which is why he never took the fight against the current champion, Pietri Yan.
Jan, yeah. No, 100%. Your assessment, as always, is pretty insightful, but definitely spot on. But yeah, it's just shout out to Bobby Green. I like this is the run that I've always wanted for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I hope this leads to a title opportunity, as Vince McMahon would say, sometime in the near future. Because like Jesus, I mean,
Did,
if not Bobby Green,
did
who?
did you catch his post fight interview?
I didn't catch it. What did he
Oh
say?
my God! Hey, he just gave us a quick taste of his life, man. The dude has been through some carnage, man. Carnage. He lost his brother. You know what I mean? Foster kid and all
Mm,
this. Wow, wow. And the fact that he's still here, man, he's still here. The fight in the guy, man. The fight in the guy. You know what I mean? And also the sense and awareness enough to understand what his God-given gift is, realizing that before time was up and coming back to mixed martial arts to now lay waste to the valley and really earn what he truly deserved in this sport. You know what I mean? There is no title yet, but he is making do. Yet again, he grabs another bonus. You know what
yeah,
I mean? He's all about the money because he is trying to feed his family. It's
yeah,
different when you're trying to feed your family, man. It's always different. Chris Curtis, trying to feed his family, man.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's different. It's different when you're fighting for those causes. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But shout out to Bobby Green, man. He's doing this thing. He's doing this
Absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely. Well, shout out to you because you're the person who put me on game to this gentleman, Alex Piera. I probably fucked that up, man. But and it's all about the next generation always, as Shaman
That's
Steve.
right. That's
Absolutely, and
right,
that's
Shaman
something that
Steve.
you do well, that Voodoo does well. But again, speaking of well, what is it? Pejera, right? Or
Pereira.
yeah,
Pereira.
yeah,
Pohatang.
yes,
Pohatang.
Jesus, Jesus.
Pohatang.
That flying knee to Andreas Michelades. Might as well. I mean, I might have seen was it Taziki fly
Hey,
out of Michelades' face?
hey,
It was,
hey, for a fighter, for a fight style that Alex brings to the table, there's no better counter than a natural grappler in Andres Micheladis, the Spartan. I believe he is Greek, right? Is he
yeah,
is he truly Greek? Let me
yes,
see. Is he Greek? Yeah, he is Greek. I mean, you had a 100 Spartan from Greece itself go up against Amazonian jungle man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the difference was quite clear. Alex Pereira is on another level. Joe Rogan put me up on this, man. He put me up on to this guy. He was talking about the way he described him. It made me curious. The way he described the man, he made me curious. I was like, who the hell is this Alex Pereira? He couldn't be that great. What the hell? Like, what you like? Come on, man, get off his nuts. But he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong, as you can see. It only takes one mistake with Alex, and you are sleeping. The current champion, Adesanya, he's experienced this. This is no joke. This is no joke. You can't make a mistake around this man. You can't make a mistake around this man. He is the most violent fighter that I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
The guy from Lithuania is pretty violent.
Yeah.
But under these parameters, under the mixed martial art parameters, Alex Pereira is the most violent that I've ever seen. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, 100%. Shout out to Pieta. Does he get? Yeah,
he got a bonus.
You got a bonus. Yeah, if not him, I don't know what. Obviously, if there was another one, 6 bonus, definitely Chris Curtis. But I mean, I'm not mad at every one that Dana White and crew decided were to bestow such an honor to. But shit, yeah, man.
What better way to put the division on notice? I am here. I am
exactly.
Here. However you say that in Portuguese. I am here.
Yeah. You know what time it is, right? You know what fucking time it is. It is time. Yeah. Holy shit. Where is it?
Take this scissor knee to the face.
Yeah. Oh.
Take this scissor knee to the face and go to sleep. I said go to sleep.
Yeah.
Go to sleep. I am here. You know what I mean? Straight up.
4 name pronunciation classes by Voodoomaximus. A 1 easy payment of $9.99.99 or 4 easy payments of $4.99.99. You too can pronounce. What was it? I am here in Portuguese, like this fine gentleman says. And don't forget, he's a scholar too. So a scholar and a teacher, a disciplinarian.
Hey,
estoy aquí. Yeah, close enough, says Shaman Steve. So, all right.
Hey, I am telling Alex Pereira, use as much English as you can. Thank you, whatever. Just say something. Say something. Let the people know that you understand, and you will attempt to communicate with them the best you can. That's all they need. Hey, you are an assassin. You are an assassin. Don't just speak through your Brazilian interpreter, Portuguese interpreter. Don't just speak through, you know what I mean? Pick up a word or two, like a slang, whatever, something.
I'm here.
Anything English.
I am here.
I am here. That's it. That's it. Be like who used to drop one-liners? Someone, the Terminator or something like that. He used to drop.
I was gonna say Goldberg.
Right.
Who's next?
Just do it like that. And the good thing is he doesn't have to try and be some character. He already is a character, a real life wrecking ball, running through individuals. You know what I'm saying? This is a fact. Poatan, hands of stone. Understand, this man will destroy you. He would destroy you. If you stand in front of him, he will destroy you. Now he's only got 4 ounces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 4 ounces between you and him, you will go to sleep. You will go to sleep. Yeah. Pay attention, or you will go to sleep. You better get him down to the ground as soon as possible and hold him if you can. Because if he gets up, you're going to sleep.
Yeah, no, 100%. So shout out to Pieta. And again, $50,000, not a bad way to and your debut, much like Chris Curtis in Madison Square Garden. So not a bad way to start your campaign towards the UFC middleweight title held by Israel Adesanya. So that was a pretty fucking emphatic statement made by Beheada. But talking about emphatic statements, arguably the best fight of 2021, and on a list of probably greatest fights of all time, we have, and this is a battle. Even though they're both in the UFC, in my mind, this is World Series of Fight, the precursor to PFL, right? Champion Justin Gaethje against one of the cornerstones of Bellator, former champion Michael Iron Chandler or Iron Michael Chandler. Jesus Louise's 15 minutes of unhinged mayhem.
Indeed. What was lost and will never be replaced, there is no financial equivalent to. What they lost collectively, no money can buy.
Yeah.
No money can buy. They threw caution to the wind. And like WWE wrestlers and pro wrestlers sacrificed their bodies for the people. That's what I saw. What I saw. It was hell and brimstone.
Yes, Old Testament Jesus for sure.
It was carnage in that cage. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it.
Carnage in the cage. Good God, that sounds like that should definitely be a fucking, a show title, whether it be MMA or pro wrestling. Carnage in the cage. If somebody hasn't done that, yeah, Jesus Christ.
Right? Hey, that fight was unreal. It was unreal, and I'm shocked that they were still standing at the end of that.
Absolutely.
It was so many car crashes in that fight. Each one of them getting hit by a car continuously for 15 minutes. For 15 minutes. 15 minutes. The reason why I picked Justin Gaethje to win this fight was because of his boxing and his kicking, of course. Let's just call it kickboxing. His kickboxing. I knew his kickboxing would be better than Mike Chandler's. But I could also see that Mike Chandler really, really tried to up his level striking wise. He was disciplined in this match. He did jab a lot. He didn't just go for the bombs away, which is a power hand, the overhand right. He kicked a lot. He fought a mixed martial arts fight. He even attempted to take down. He was the ultimate mixed martial artist.
Yep.
But unfortunately for him, Gaethje was the better stand-up fighter who happens to have excellent takedown defense. And Chandler got stuck on the feet.
Yeah.
And when he got stuck on the feet, the better boxer proved himself. And that was Justin Gaethje.
Yeah.
What was it? Trevor Whitman?
Trevor Whitman. That's just Trevor Whitman. This is his first of three. Yeah, the first of three fights that his guys, and that's actually why we have I believe you pointed it out to us on Thursday, the fact that Trevor Whitman needed a break because he would have had three back-to-back fight if they had placed Chandler Gaethje right under Rose Namajunas and Zhang Weili. He would have just been out there. He might as well just stayed the fuck back in octagon side.
It was amazing. It was amazing for the fans. For the fans, it was amazing, right? Me as a fan, I thoroughly enjoyed it, right? But this is where another part of me sees something different.
Yeah.
The martial artist in me saw a brawl, and I have an emotional clash right now between the slugfest that I witnessed and the fan that's bloodthirsty in me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to see blood. That versus the lack of technicality, the risk that they were willing to take was far too great in this day and age.
Yeah.
My ultimate fighter, my ultimate mixed martial artist gets hit very less than what I witnessed. Even though I loved it, remember, Vanderlei Silva was my main guy back in his time, back when I didn't know any better. Right? Flow state was what was happening. That was flow state, what you saw. Them able to do what they did, that was flow state. Now I'm headed to free flow. My mind is ahead now. My mind is in free flow. I didn't appreciate the combatic aspect of what I saw. It wasn't technical. It wasn't technical. And I'll tell you why. When we get to Shane Burgos, I'll tell you why. I'll make the compare. I'll finish my thought when we get to Shane Burgos. But which is next?
Yeah, let's go. Let's fucking go.
Let's jump into Shane Burgos. So Shane Burgos versus Billy Quarantillo. I chose Billy Quarantillo because of the takedown, not the takedown, the grappling skill set that he brings to the table, right? But unfortunately for Billy Quarantillo in this match, he had enough striking to be a complete mixed martial artist, but he didn't have the wrestling to take down Shane Burgos. Because Shane Burgos, his takedown defense was phenomenal. But from the last time we saw Shane Burgos to now, the difference in remember when Anthony Barbosa hit him? And he kept fighting for like 15 seconds and then the effects hit him?
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
This is flow state. This is that death touch type stuff Bruce Lee was talking about back in the days. When you hit them with the palm and it comes out of their back, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And, or the death touch, they die a few days later.
Yeah.
That was that kind of strike in reality. Now Shane Burgos overcame all that carnage and he improved. He was knocked down 8 times and he got down 9. He got up 9. He came back to this match and he was better than the last version of him. Better. His kickboxing was flow state worthy. His kickboxing was flow state worthy. He was in the zone, man. He was in the zone. The sharpness of his striking, the pullback. He didn't fall into the strikes like Billy Quarantillo was doing. Right? He was snapping like Muhammad Ali. This is what we're looking for if we're going to head into flow state. You have to spend a lot of time on boxing to get to this level. Right? The kicks will come. But the one that we need to spend the most time on are these right here. Fluidity in the hand strikes. Speed in the hands. Right? That will set up the opening for the kicks. Right? Shane Burgos had this. He let it happen. He released the hounds on Billy Quarantillo. Since Billy Quarantillo couldn't take him down. He was stuck. He took a beating. This is the most I've ever seen him beat down. And he couldn't do anything about it. He had a tough heart, which is why he lasted 15 minutes. But sooner or later, he would have been finished because Shane Burgos was this close. He ran out of time.
Yeah. And this is definitely a championship fight. And if that would have happened, he would have had more time. But, 3-round fights, 15 minutes. This is an amazing fight. This also got, if nothing else, it got Trevor Whitman a little bit more time with Rose Namajunas and Kamaru Usman right before their respective title defenses. But yeah, holy shit. Shout out to both men. Unfortunately, not recipients of the Fight of the Night deals, but there's a whole lot of shit that, a whole lot of fights just on this card alone that were recipients of it, and that's nothing against these two. It's just holy. I mean, if there was just like, kind of fucking these type of fights, then they would have got the bonus.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. On another day, that would have been fight of the night. It was
Yeah.
spectacular. It was spectacular to watch. I loved every moment of it, man. I enjoyed it much more than the precursor, Justin Gaethje and Mike Chandler, just because of the technicality. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Shane Burgos was dialed in, man. Elbows were tight, the movement. You know what I mean? Cutting up the ring, the head
Yeah.
movement, the straight shots. He was just absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. The kickboxing was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was the best I've ever seen him.
I
He's
agree.
on his way, man. He's on his way.
Yep. Home
He's on
sweet
his way.
home. Home sweet home. But speaking of on its way, holy shit! Home team Marlon Chito Vera KOs Frankie Edgar, and I'm not going to talk too much about it. You can talk as long as you like.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to Mario Mario on the other channel at 4 o'clock, but I will simply put this: that is the points of impact. It literally what did Habib say? I'll change your face.
Mm.
That is Marlon Chito Vera changing the face of Frankie Edgar. Even if for that moment it still happened. That's
Wow.
that tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah. 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 Chichito was the bigger man. He was the bigger man. He was long. Frankie, even though Frankie, phenomenal champion, phenomenal athlete, phenomenal. Frankie is the only person that I'm down with in that camp. Everybody else, I'm not really caring about. But Frankie Edgar, he's earned my respect. You know what I mean? He's earned my respect. But unfortunately, he peaked a long time ago. He peaked a long time ago, and his skill set didn't change, which is why it was very difficult, very easy for Marlon Vera to step in there and toe tag him the way he did. Um, he established distance with the straight punches. As you can see, lots of front kicks to the body, and as you saw in that picture, the delivery of that front kick, it was the ball of the foot that landed. People are starting to understand the importance of kicking, like martial artists, like karate artists, taekwondo artists. These snapping kicks are highly effective. You don't have to break everything you kick, but you can hit the right spot and break the glass. Right? And I remember back when we were growing up, there were these metal things that you throw at glass and it shatters the whole thing. Right? These are what snapping strikes do for you. Bobby Green threw a snapping strike. Marlon Vera, that front kick was a snapping strike. He didn't kick through the head. He touched the perfect spot with a snap, and he brought his leg back, and he was ready to go again. These are what put you to the next level into free flow. These type of strikes, right? And Marlon Vera was flawless. He was flawless, flawless. He was expected to win. We expected him to win, and he did that beautifully. Another highlight finish for Marlon Chito Vera.
Yeah. Shout out to Cheeto. A long time coming, big win. I want Cheeto to fucking fight for the title. It's just a nice little kind of, leaving his family in his native country to come here and train. Shout out to Cheeto. So, yeah, man, a big win. But now we're at the co-main event of the evening. We have reigning and defending champion, strawweight champion, Rose Namajunas against the former strawweight. Yeah, it is strawweight. A former strawweight champion, one Zhang Wei Li. And this one was a war of attrition. But take it away, Vidu.
Yes, 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 yes. This was a very good fight. 25 minutes of pure talent, pure talent. Um, two excellent sword fighters going to work. Two excellent um, um, mixed martial artists doing their thing, trying different locks, trying different keys, to open a lock of the other. We saw a complete game here. We saw boxing, we saw kickboxing, we saw wrestling, we saw jiu-jitsu. We saw excellent martial artists at the peak, at the pinnacle of fighting. Rose Namajunas knew what her attributes were, and she knows how to use them very well. Her length is rare in this division, which is why Joanna Jędrzejczyk was so successful when she came in. Usually, the women are much smaller, shorter in height and wingspan. You saw that in this match. Wei Li, though she's an excellent striker, just couldn't get through the range of Rose Namajunas. Quick hands that we talked about, straight shots, the 1 and 2s, highly effective in this particular matchup. The kicking game was nice. Wei Li, she used her longest weapon very well, the kicks early on. She tried to use wrestling. She spent a lot of time on the wrestling. You could see that as she was able to acquire takedowns. But now that we're down, what do? Right? Now she has to deal with the long range of Rose Namajunas. And it was very hard to deal with. She couldn't get the ground and pound that they practiced. You could tell that was where she went. She was headed because she knew she couldn't reach Rose. So take her to the ground and cut the distance and see if we can reach her now. But Rose's jiu-jitsu was supreme. She used the length very well, and there was nothing Wei Li could do. Wei Li did her best. Given her attributes, she did her best. I don't think there was anything else she could do. She ran into a wall, and the wall was just too high to catch. Just that much more. Sometimes it's that much that wins you the match. As you can see, it was a split decision. Razor thin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, but shout out to the defending champ, Doug Rose, as she goes on. I would assume that she faces Carla Esparza in the next title fight, but we don't know. UFC, there could be an interim championship or whatever that gets whatever, just because it gets weird. So I'm just saying. But speaking of things that might not be weird, we're at the main event of the evening. We have reigning and defending champ, the Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman versus one Colby Chaos Covington.
Yes. It was a 5-minute. It was 25 minutes of 25 minutes of like homework check, so to speak. Like when you do your work and you double check, that's what that was. I didn't see an intent to absolutely destroy the opposition. I saw a lot of caution, which is understandable. It was Usman what's the word I'm looking for? Letting the people and his opponent know once again that I said I am the best. Now you need to accept that. And this was Colby accepting that. As we saw at the end of that match, they had a little moment. The handshake that was never to be was Usman let it be known to his opponent and the world yet again that he is who we say he is, and he is the reigning, undisputed UFC welterweight champion of the world, who just so happens to be Nigerian. And he's doing his thing. And right now, he is the greatest welterweight to ever do it. It's a fact. It's a fact. He is doing it in an era where everyone is at the highest level.
No.
Everyone in the top 5, highest level. So I believe Usman is the greatest welterweight of all time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you there, man. So that is UFC 268. My goodness, he is Voodoomaximus. You can find him all across the board: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook business page. It's all Instagram. There's that. I'm According to Woods. You can find me in all of those places. And please definitely fill in and subscribe to Voodoo in the Woods. But we'll be seeing
Likewise.
you this next Sunday, or actually Thursday, with more Voodoo in the Woods, where we're talking about UFC 269. So we'll see you soon. Peace, be good, and we'll see you here at Voodoo in the Woods. There you go. Oh, wait, there you go.